Okay, in this video, we are going to be multiplying and dividing integers. So let's just talk about a couple symbols for multiplication. We know our classic X for I'll write them out, 3 times 5. We all should know by now that parentheses right next to a number also means multiplication. So it can look like that, where just one of the numbers is in parentheses, or they can both be in parentheses. And we also have a dot. If we see this, 3.5, that also means multiplication, 3 times 5. Okay? And let's talk about our rules for multiplying integers. So if we have a positive number times a positive number, that's just our regular multiplication. So our answer is positive. If we have a negative times a negative, that goes with our double negative rule. Our answer is also positive. Okay? Now, if we multiply positive times negative, our answer is negative, and negative times positive is negative. Okay? So if we have the same sign, our answer is positive. We can conclude that. Same sign, we get a positive answer. Different sign, we get a negative answer. Okay. Now our rules are very similar for division. Let's just talk about a couple symbols for division. We have our classic 10 divided by 5, our classic division sign. You may also see it written as a fraction, 10 divided by 2. Okay? You may see a slash, but that shouldn't really be used too much. 10 divided by 2. And the rules are the same for division. Positive divided by a positive is a positive. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. So here we have same sign is a positive. And positive divided by a negative is a negative, and a negative divided by a positive is a negative. So different signs equals a negative. Okay, so we're just going to do a couple of these. We have a negative 3 times a negative 2. So I always like to do this in 2 steps. Look at the signs, and then look at the numbers. So here I see we have a negative times a negative, and I know my rule tells me a negative times a negative is a positive. So I know my answer is a positive, and you don't have to write positive if the answer is positive, but sometimes I like to just to see, so I could see for myself that I considered it being negative. And then 3 times 2, which is 6. So positive 6, or you can just write 6 if you want. Okay? And then we have the second one right here, or example 3. We have 5 times negative 20. So I know here that we have positive 5 and negative 20. So positive times a negative is a negative because they are different. And so I know it's going to be negative, and 5 times 20 is 100. And now let's just do a division. We have same thing. We have negative times a negative divided by a positive, which is a negative. So we know the answer is going to be negative, and 81 divided by 9 is 9. And let's just do this word problem. A rock climber is at an elevation of 10,100 feet. 5 hours later, she is at 7,340 feet. Find the climber's vertical speed. So let's just talk about speed for a second. Anytime it says speed, I'm like, okay, well, what is speed? What is speed? And I think about driving in a car. And in a car, your speed comes up on the dash that your parents are driving. And it might read something like 60 miles per hour or 50 miles per hour. They're on a highway. It could be 10 miles per hour if they're driving on a street. Okay. But let's think of this miles per hour, right? That is just a rate, miles per hour. Okay. So here we want to know her speed, but she's not going miles, right? She's going feet. So in this case, we have feet per hour. And that's okay. It's still a speed in a different unit. So we want to know how much she did in that 5 hours. Not from 10,000 feet, but we want to know, so she's like on a mountain. That was a terrible mountain. She's on a mountain, right? And she started at 10,100. She was like all the way at the top, right? And then she climbed down, and now she's at 7,340 feet. So in this information right here, in those two different feet, that took 5 hours, okay? So we only care about those feet in between. So what we're going to do is we're going to find out the feet that she climbed in 5 hours. We're going to subtract. Okay. Okay, so we are going to subtract. We have 0, 10, 2, 2,760. So she went 2,760 feet in 5 hours. That's our rate. But we want to know in speed. We don't say per 5 hours. We want to convert that to just 1 hour. And I'm just going to move this up here. So we are going to divide. We have 5 into 2,760. So 552 feet per hour. That's how many feet she did in 1 hour. 5 different times, about. Okay? But now let's just remember, the answer is not positive. The answer is negative. And the reason the answer is negative, I'm going to put the answer as negative in now, is because she is descending. She's going down. Okay?